Hello everybody, Autistic Pony here, and today I figured I'm long overdue for another character analysis. And while I originally wanted to do Pinkie Pie, after giving it some more thought, I realized that I would need to spend more time on her before I could do a proper video. So instead, I decided to look at Rarity today, and ask the question that I've heard from a lot of people: does Rarity have OCD?
Of all the worst things that could happen, this is the worst of me! Revenge! Happy! Worst possible thing! What? I really mean it this time!
For those of you who've seen my first video, some of you might be wondering why I didn't make a stronger argument for Twilight having OCD, since the more popular canon is that rather than autism or Asperger's syndrome. Well, to be honest, while I did see a lot of OCD traits in Twilight, her personality, to me at least, comes across more as Asperger's syndrome rather than OCD. To show this, let's go over to Wiki and get the definition for both. Asperger's syndrome. Characterized by significant difficulties in social interaction and nonverbal communication. Well, let's look at OCD. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Characterized by thoughts that produces uneasiness, apprehension, fear of worry, repetitive behaviors, and obsession aimed toward reducing the associated anxieties. We see behavior in Twilight that's more associated with more ASDs I've seen in the field rather than OCDs. And if you disagree, just feel free to leave a comment in it down below. Now, while I think the definition of OCD doesn't fit Twilight, Rarity on the other hoof. A lot of OCDs in my life, Rarity's behavior does seem to fit perfectly well with the symptoms. She is a perfectionist who often has time accepting things if they are not perfectly done. With the two best examples we can see in the episode Look Before You Sleep and Sisterhood Social. Before You Sleep, we see Rarity's constant fussing over simple things like mud, makeup, manicure, all that stuff, even to the point where she won't even help Applejack move a big tree until that one corner of the room is perfectly clean and organized. And believe me, I've seen a lot of OCDs in my special ed class who have much more exaggerated examples than this. I'm not kidding, and unfortunately I don't have time to go into detail. You're just going to have to trust me on this one. I think the one episode that has the most evidence for and against Rarity being an OCD would have to be Sisterhood Social, where, we see in the start of the episode, Rarity's constant fuss over her sister messing things up for her, which could be argued any parent or sibling would. However, it isn't until Sweetie Belle attempts to clean Rarity's room that we see Rarity's full-on snap, which might argue make the most sense for an OCD person since, again, having lived with one or two, are easily prone to getting upset if you organize or disorganize any of their personal belongings. Although, the one part of the episode that could potentially kill this argument would be the part where, spoilers ahead for the episode if you haven't seen it, would be the part where Rarity willingly gets covered in mud just to make her sister happy, which you would think would be case closed, since obviously no one with OCD would be willing to put themselves in this situation. In the end, like Twilight I suppose, there really isn't any way to confirm or deny whether or not Rarity has OCD. Although, much like her, if she did, she'd be a very admirable character for having OCD, willing to get out of her comfort zone just to appease her sister and her best friends. Again, really showing quite the element of generosity she is. Even to the point of putting aside her own needs for perfection just to try to please her friends. Even if things don't necessarily always turn out how she wants, she always comes through in the end. And even if she might have problems, she certainly has an eye for making the most of it to make fabulous dresses. But what do you think? Do you think Rarity has some form of OCD? Or perhaps something else? Am I missing some major pieces of evidence? Or am I right off the target? Leave your comments below, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and to end this video on a more comedic clip, here you go.
Happy! I